Hi there, I'm Ethan with thehonestcarpenter.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to repair small damaged wooden corners like this one on the exterior of a house. To do this repair, I'm going to use a product called Bondo, which is a two-part epoxy, and it works as a great exterior for wood filler because it's inorganic and it can't rot and it'll hold up to the elements. I'm going to trowel that in with something like a 4-inch taping knife or putty knife. But the other trick to getting this to really work is I like to tack on a straight edge form, you can see this, to the corner of my damaged post, and I bring it out flush with the face that needs repaired, and I'm going to use it to help me trowel Bondo into the damaged area, and this form will give me a nice straight corner here. This is everything we're going to use to mix the Bondo up. In case you were wondering, those form blocks I put on with little brad nails that I can easily remove later. I could have clamped them on also, but I was doing so many that it was easier to just shoot them on with brad nails and I'll be able to pry them off. But here's the Bondo. It's just kind of a gray sludge. And then the second part is a cream hardener that you add in a very small amount. So I'm going to be using quite a bit of Bondo. I just use something like a 5-in-1 or a putty knife to pull it out. And I like to use a piece of cardboard to mix on because it gives you a nice sharp edge most of the time. So take your cream hardener, and what you want to do is just add a line of it all around the top of the Bondo pile. About that much. There's not an exact science to saying how much. You just want to sort of cover the top a little bit with these sort of squiggles, and then I tend to use an exterior screw or just something long like that to mix it up, and you just swirl the two parts together and you'll see the colors kind of combine. Some Bondo is red, and I think that's a really good idea because the white cream hardener will turn it pink. This brand or product is not, but it's fine because I can kind of tell when I have the right mixture, and I may even add a little bit more to this. You just swirl them together and you'll see it take on a slightly thicker consistency. It's only going to have a work time of about 5 or 10 minutes based on the humidity outside where you live. I'm going to add a little more hardener. And that's probably going to speed up the reaction there, just like that. Fill this up. Get the new hardener. See, I got my Bondo ready and I've loaded up the edge of my blade here. And I'm just going to press it into my gap and kind of work it from all angles. And I can take off the excess on the corner there. And then I'm going to trowel it down flat. And that's it. I'm just going to leave the first coat like that for a while. I'm giving that coat about 10 minutes to set up, although we're in the North Carolina heat out here and it seems like it's drying fast. It's a good idea in between coats to scrape off your tools. I kind of need both hands to do this, but you get the idea. This stuff sets up really hard as a rock after about 10 minutes. And you want to get it off while it's still somewhat pliable. So you can just scrape your tools together. And also you can even take them if you have some rough concrete somewhere, kind of just wipe them off on concrete and it'll get the gunk off in between coats. As soon as that coat's done, I like to sand in between coats, and I'll show you how to do that. Use an Orbital palm sander to do this. You don't need a very aggressive grit. I'm just using something like 120, I think, is what I have on here. And this is a place where the form comes in handy. I'm going to turn the Orbital on, and I'm just going to press it into the surface here, and it's mostly to clear the gunk off the post. That's about it, and we'll be ready for another coat. For the second coat, I've mixed up a much smaller amount. This is a new piece of cardboard, and I put a smaller amount on my knife. So I'll bring that up and carefully trowel in. And this is just a surface coat. You're just filling in all the little gaps that you might have left behind last time. Don't try to trowel this one too flat because you want it to stand proud just a little bit so you can sand down to the surface that you want next time. I'll probably leave it with something like that and I'll go do the others. there's the coat finished, and a second coat finished and sanded smooth. That feels really good. Like I said, this form helps you sand because it keeps you from collapsing the corner as you're going over it. It's a good idea to touch these areas up with primer. That'll help seal up the wood that you've exposed. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use a utility knife to carefully score a line between the block and the post, and I'm going to follow the edge of the block, and this is going to help separate the two, just like that. Now I'm going to use a 5-in-1 to gently pry out the block from up here, and I'm going to stop recording to do that so I don't mess it up. Here you can see the 5-in-1 pulling the block away. I just tapped it in gently with my hammer, which I'll continue to do until it's about like that. Now I can begin to give it a little force to actually get those brads out. Those brad holes will be really easy to fill with caulk. And that's it. Now I can sand up the other face, which is kind of hard to see in the lighting here. But I can smooth up this face as well. And I can even use a little caulk to dab in holes and sand over again. And that corner will be repaired. There's the follow-up to that repair. I also used a little bit of 120 grit to knock down the sharpness of the corner itself. I did use caulk over on this face. You can barely see it here. And sanded the caulk down. Got a nice smooth face, smooth corners there. Also, I should have mentioned these tools can be cleaned with acetone, which is basically nail polish remover. I only keep these two for doing jobs like this because it really gunks up your plastering tools, and I like to keep my other tools better for drywall repair and stuff like that. So these are my designated Bondo repair tools, but you can clean them up with acetone. So that's the job done, and I can go finish the other three. For links to the tools mentioned in this video, you can check out my blog, thehonestcarpenter.com. Just follow the URL in the description below. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe.